There's a particular kind of overthinking that doesn't feel like thinking at all. It feels like replay. A sentence you said, a look someone gave you, the moment you walked away, and then, later, your mind brings it back. Not once, not clearly, but in fragments, like it's trying to check something it didn't get to finish checking. People often assume this happens because you're insecure, or because you care too much, or because you can't let things go. But that's usually not the real reason. Conversation replay is often the mind doing something it learned to do a long time ago. It's scanning for meaning. Because social moments aren't just social. They carry belonging, safety, reputation, connection. And the mind treats those things as important, even when the moment looked small. A conversation can be fine and still leave a residue. Not because anything went wrong, but because something felt slightly unclear, slightly off, slightly unconfirmed. The mind struggles with mostly fine. It prefers a clean signal. They understood me. They like me. We're okay. Nothing changed. But real life rarely gives that. So the mind goes back and tries to infer what wasn't said. Sometimes you replay a conversation because you're trying to improve. You're trying to be better next time. Kinder, clearer, less awkward, less intense, less you. But underneath that improvement instinct, there's often a quieter question. Did I do something that made me unsafe? Not unsafe as in danger. Unsafe as in less accepted, less respected, less secure. Because in subtle ways, many people have learned that connection is conditional, that the wrong tone can cost you, that the wrong timing can change how you're seen. So the mind keeps reviewing, not to punish you, to protect you. And that protection can look like rumination. It can look like self-criticism. It can look like replaying one sentence as if it holds the entire truth of the interaction. But here's something important. Most conversation replay isn't actually about the conversation. It's about uncertainty. The mind is trying to reduce uncertainty by building a story that feels stable, even if the story is harsh. This is why the replay often tilts negative, because a negative story feels actionable. If you assume you were annoying, you can try to be less annoying. If you assume you sounded stupid, you can try to sound smarter. If you assume they judged you, you can brace yourself. The mind prefers a painful certainty over an open question. And that's such a human thing, because uncertainty doesn't just feel unknown. It can feel like exposure, like standing in a room with no clear place to put your hands. So your mind returns to the moment and tries to tidy it. It tries to rewrite it. It tries to locate the exact second where it all went wrong, even if nothing went wrong. Sometimes, too, the mind replays conversations because it's carrying an old role. The person who smooths things over, the person who keeps the peace, the person who anticipates reactions. If you've lived that way for long enough, a normal conversation doesn't end when it ends. It stays open until you feel sure everyone is okay. And if you're honest, that can be a very high bar, because you can't fully know, you can't mind read, you can't control how someone took something. You can only sense and guess and hope. So the replay continues, and it starts to feel personal, like something is wrong with you for not being able to drop it. But the truth is usually simpler. Your mind is doing what it learned. Check the room, check the tone, check the risk, check the connection. If this is something you do, it doesn't automatically mean you're fragile. It often means you're socially aware. It often means you care about impact. It often means you've learned that relationships matter. The problem isn't the caring, it's the cost of constant checking, because eventually, replay stops being reflection and becomes a loop, and loops don't bring understanding. They bring fatigue. There's a quiet permission here. You can be a good person without perfectly auditing every interaction. You can be thoughtful without reviewing yourself like evidence. You can care without prosecuting your own tone. Most conversations don't need to be solved. They simply happened. They passed through. And the fact that your mind returned to it doesn't mean it was a disaster. It often just means you're someone who notices. And maybe, right now, your mind is tired. Not broken. Just tired. Pause. If your brain is replaying a conversation tonight, it might not be asking for more analysis. It might be asking for safety, for permission to stop checking, for a moment of quiet where nothing is being evaluated. And you're allowed to give it that.